Okay, so Brent, you know Brandon's Guns here in town, my old buddy. He called me not too long ago, and he says, "Hey, Roy, I've got this. It's 11 millimeter Glicenti or something, and it's a little bit rusty, but and it's only missing a few parts, but I thought you might want to buy it." And so I, of course, said, yeah, hang on to it. So when I went down there, on my way there, I was trying to remember where am I going to get some 11 millimeter rimfire ammunition. And there are people in our community who take those kind of things as a personal test of their manhood, and they attempt to conquer it. And I got to thinking about it, and I thought it's a great topic for us, because what is an oddball caliber? What isn't an oddball caliber? And why are they appealing to some guys like me? I was going through my, Thompson Center contender barrels the other day, and it's like 221 Fireball and 222 Remington and 35. I've got all these weird calibers, and it's like when I tell this story, a lot of people just sort of stare at me, and they go, "Don't you have like a 270?" So what is this all about?
Well, I think it's kind of the beauty's in the eye of the beholder kind of thing, because I've had this conversation before, and you'll say kind of as a throwaway of, "Oh yeah, that's a weird caliber," and the guy's like, "Well, I've got 3 of them." So to him, it's not weird at all,
Yeah, no, my feelings hurt,
Yeah. To me, like I got to use a 35 Remington Marlin lever gun here about a year ago for a class, and I'd shot one before, but I didn't own one, and it was like, oh, this is really cool. And the more I started researching it, and it just by happenstance, I ended up with an entire case of 35 Remington in the garage, and it's like, well, I know it's still commercially made, and it's not that oddball, but to me, it was really out there. But after I used it, it's like, I can certainly see the merits of this, so now I need to add a 35 Remington to my collection to use up all that really pricey ammunition that's sitting in the garage forlornly.
That does happen, though. So, it's like you find a case of 11 millimeter ammunition, now you have to buy a gun to match it.
Oh, exactly.
So how many here have ammunition on the shelf for which you do not have a firearm?
But you never know.
Literally, my neighbor is holding a case that came while I was traveling that he's like, "Why is this caliber coming to your..." "Oh, I've got dozens of guns in that caliber." And then he's really in awe, like, "Wow, you must really have a big gun collection."
Well, that's actually really funny. But you're right. I have absolutely bought ammunition, and then even sometimes the ammunition that wasn't a good deal. And then it's that thing that's like, now I have to find it. You know who's really good at this kind of stuff is our own Tank Hoover. Tank is a craftsman. He's an artist. And so he has sent me molds and had me remachine molds so he can specifically make a certain bullet for a gun that has impossible to get for ammunition. And so he actually did that for me. I had an old family heirloom rifle in this very odd 8x50 rimmed weirdo caliber from around the turn of the century, and I had never been able to shoot it, for the last 45 or 50 years. And between the two of us, we were able to figure out, and darn if Tank didn't make some ammunition for it. And so now my old family gun, I could shoot in the backyard.
Crazy.
I would say too that we have to remember a lot of these old guns, there's some fine old English guns, rook rifles and fine old English single shots and double rifles that are in these odd calibers, and you can actually get them pretty affordably. I mean, this was a gun that would have been maybe $50,000 in the day, and that now you'll see them on Gunbroker for maybe $2,000 or $1,500. And don't always let those odd calibers scare you away, because there's going to be some goofball like me or Tank who's going to be able to help you figure it out.
Well, if you take up reloading, you're definitely going to end up with weird caliber disease. I mean, I've got a wall full of brass over there. I'll just collecting brass for years and all kinds of goofball calibers, because one day, I might have a need for that.
Well, the other thing is, when you get interested in this, is that you'll realize that we haven't invented anything new in about 100 years. Because almost to a cartridge, when someone announces the hot new, the something something, I just get out cartridges of the world and I look back, and in 1918, there it is. Somebody had it called something else.
Now, Roy, have you reloaded the 11 millimeter pin fire?
The terrifying thing is I actually know how to do that. And I'm not proud of that, honestly. I'm really not proud of that. But, there is something that they're called Subcaliber Adapters. And there's a company, and the name escapes me. I almost want to say it's MCA, but they were in Alaska the last time I looked. And they make their Subcaliber adapters. So let's say you have a 308 bolt-action rifle. You can get this thing that looks like an empty cartridge case, but it will hold, in the case of a 308 or 30 caliber gun, a 32 ACP. And if you have a 22-250, you could shoot a 22 long rifle or a 22 Magnum in it, for instance. But they have them for a wide range of cartridges. So, you could shoot 30 carbine in a 308, and you can do all kinds of stuff like that. And I have to say, while it's not really an unusual cartridge, it is a lot of fun, and it is something fun to do if you're kind of looking to stretch your boundary a little bit. So get a 32 ACP and then shoot it in your 308 rifle, because it's such a bizarre feeling. You're so used to this fire and brimstone, and you shoot it, it goes poof, and this little 32 bullet rattles down the barrel, and it's pretty fun.
See, I just do that with Trail Boss powder and pretty much any surplus rifle. So
that's pretty much true. Yeah, no, you're
an
exactly
easy
right.
way to get the similar effect, right?
Well, I think that I've never really understood, even to this day I don't, as somebody who goes to the range, and we've all been there, and there's a guy next to you, and he shoots 400 rounds of 9mm as fast as he can pull the trigger on the same target. And then he packs up his Glock and then leaves. And I've never really understood that, because you've just spent $200 or $300 making empty brass. You really haven't learned anything. You don't know where you're hitting on the target, and everybody hates you in the range, and then you leave. So
but besides that,
it's a lot of fun. So I would advocate do something. Have your 9mm, learn how to use it and train with it and do all that kind of stuff, but have some fun and expand it a little bit, and don't be afraid to get some unusual caliber. Right now, I'm in the middle of building a single-shot 32 H&R Magnum rifle. I want to build a rook rifle, like the old British, rook rifle where they used to shoot the blackbirds. And there were always unusual little cartridges and odd guns and stuff. But it's like, I don't know what it is, but it lets you stretch your gray cells a little bit or something,
Yeah.
Well, when you're talking about oddball cartridges, I know you have, Roy. Tom, you've been to the Whittington Museum in Raton, New Mexico?
I have not.
At the Whittington Center, it's their offices, and they've got a museum there, and they have the most extensive collection of every caliber I've ever seen. And it's just drawers and drawers and drawers. And even I, who I'm not really a oddball calendar, have the disease, as you say, but I'm just like, oh, look at this, and look at this. And, they've got African cartridges that, are basically the size of a tennis ball can, and, 300 grains of black powder and a 800 grain, bullet firing at 300 feet per second, but all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, I need to get one of these, and oh, I've never seen that. I need to buy some of these. It was one of those things that, oh my gosh, Tom, you would totally geek out there. So go to the Whittington Center and plan on spending a day just salivating over the drawers of ammunition.
And those are the kind of things that make you realize just how little we actually know.
Exactly.
Because you start looking at that, and it's like, and the other thing about these exotic cartridges is I like the smaller ones sometimes. There's a 4mm rimfire, it might even be a pin fire, and it's an actual cartridge.
Yep.
And they make miniature guns, and you can actually shoot them in the little guns.
Yeah. They had one of those. It looks like a tie tack almost, but it fires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a real cartridge, and it shoots. You can knock over an aluminum can or something like that. So I shot a 4-bore elephant rifle one time, and I have to tell you, I absolutely have no end of respect for those, Edwardian guys Sir Peter Hathaway Hamilton the Fourth, and he's there in nowhere stand South Africa, and taking elephants with this gun. But Brent, you were right. I mean, it was like a 8-ounce projectile, from a rifle that weighed 26 pounds, and I can't describe the recoil. I would never shoot one again, and I was geared up. I had pads, I had something against my cheek and all that, and I don't know why I didn't break any teeth or anything, and these guys would shoot multiple times. I've read where they say, though, that they have black and blue faces and their noses are bloody after they shoot these guns. Wow. So I like exotic cartridges, but maybe there is a limit. And so, hey, if you're listening to this and you have a favorite weirdo exotic cartridge that are going to cause us to talk about you and point fingers, make sure you post it down below. Tell us why it's fun and how hard it was for you to bring that old gun back alive again. So, all right, guys, I think this has been fun. Of course, we'll find out what they all say. Thank you.